When life destroys you, it feels as though the ground beneath your feet has opened and swallowed everything you once trusted. The phone call that changes everything, the betrayal you never saw coming, the sudden silence where there was once love, laughter, or stability, in a single moment. What you thought was permanent crumbles into dust, and you are left staring at ruins that once held your identity. Have you felt it? The sudden collapse of the world you built with your own hands, the loss that shakes you so deeply you wonder if you will ever stand again. The breaking that leaves you with questions that echo louder than your prayers. But what if destruction was not your punishment? What if it was your divine initiation? What if the collapse you fear is actually the whisper of destiny, reshaping the ground beneath you for something greater than you could imagine? The truth is, when life shatters everything, a higher law is at work. The divine architect clears away weak foundations so a new structure, stronger and unshakable, can rise. The sacred fire consumes what cannot last, not because you are unworthy, but because your soul is being prepared for something indestructible. Look closely at the ruins around you. Are they the evidence of failure, or are they the evidence of divine reorganization? Have you ever wondered why the universe strips away what you cling to the most? It is because the hands that hold too tightly cannot open to receive what is destined. When the relationship ends, perhaps it was never aligned with your highest good. When the money vanishes, maybe it was tied to an identity too small for your soul's calling. When health falters, perhaps it is your body's way of urging you toward alignment with divine order. Every shattering hides within it the seed of victory. The law of non-resistance teaches us that suffering intensifies when we fight what is already being dismantled by divine intelligence. Resistance says, "This should not have happened." Faith says, "Even in destruction, I am being prepared for victory." One voice keeps you trapped in the ashes, the other invites you to rise. So I ask you, what if the storm that tore through your life was not sent to destroy you, but to clear away what could never sustain you? What if every collapse is secretly an opening? What if the end you fear is really the doorway to a beginning you prayed for in silence? Pause for a moment, place your hand over your heart, feel the rhythm of life still moving within you. That beat is the drum of divine timing. Even now, even in your breaking, you are not abandoned, you are being rebuilt. Close your eyes, if you can. Imagine the walls around you falling. Imagine the floorboards splintering. Imagine everything you once leaned on turning to dust. Then, in the silence of that empty space, see a light breaking through. It stretches across the ruins, painting them gold. It reveals a new foundation, unshakable, eternal, strong enough to carry the dream planted in you before you were born. This is the hidden breakthrough, to recognize that destruction is not the end of your story. It is the unveiling of a greater chapter. Repeat this affirmation after me. Even in destruction, I am being prepared for victory. Say it slowly. Say it until your soul remembers. Even in destruction, I am being prepared for victory. Your life may look broken, but you are not broken. Your dream may look delayed, but it is not denied. What feels like loss is divine substitution, making way for something so aligned, so perfect, so radiant, that you will one day thank the ruins for clearing the path. You are not here by accident. This message has found you because your soul is ready to rise from what fell. You are ready to see beyond the ashes. You are ready to walk through the silent gate of destiny into your divine comeback. And if these words stir something in you, if you feel the truth vibrating through your being, I invite you to join me daily. Subscribe now, not as a casual click, but as a sacred choice to walk in light, faith, and divine victory every single day. Together, we will journey through destruction, into resurrection, through endings, into divine beginnings, because when life destroys you, it is not your ending, it is your sacred preparation, it is your awakening call, and your victory has already been written. There is a hidden law at work when life seems to fall apart. It is not a law of cruelty. It is not a law of punishment. It is the law of divine reorganization. The ancient masters called it the law of non-resistance. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that what you lose is not truly loss at all. It is the universe clearing the path, removing what no longer belongs to the higher design of your life. Suffering does not come from what is taken away. It comes from the grip of resistance, from holding too tightly to what the divine has already released. Have you noticed that when you fight what is collapsing, the pain intensifies? But when you soften, when you let go, when you say, "This too is preparing me," a strange peace enters. This is the power of aligning with the law. Imagine a farmer in the quiet season. Before he can plant the seeds of a new harvest, he must clear the field. The soil that once bore fruit must be broken, turned, and renewed. To the untrained eye, it looks destructive. The land is being cut open, overturned, stripped bare. Yet to the farmer, this breaking is sacred preparation. Without it, no new life could grow. So it is with your soul. The old ground must be turned so the seed of your destiny can take root. Florence said, "What you lose clears the way for something greater." This truth carries a rhythm like the turning of the seasons. When something leaves, it is because a greater arrangement is being orchestrated in the unseen. The divine orchestra never plays a note too early or too late. It strikes at the exact measure that awakens your growth. Think of the moments you have labeled as endings, the job you could not keep, the relationship that slipped away, the opportunity that vanished at the last second. On the surface, they appear as defeat, yet beneath the surface, your subconscious was being rewired. The soil of your inner life was being loosened so that new possibility could be planted. When the subconscious clings to what is familiar, it cannot expand. So life removes the familiar. It tears down the structures that keep you small, and while the conscious mind protests, the deeper mind is being silently prepared for enlargement. That is why destruction is never random. It is precise, intentional, a divine clock striking the hour of transformation. Let me ask you, what if the thing you lost was never meant to sustain you? What if its only purpose was to carry you to this point and then release you into greater ground? The universe does not strip without replacing. It never empties without the intention to refill. The pattern of life is always substitution. When one thing departs, another is on its way. Here is a practice for you. Take your journal and write these words. What in my life is being removed that no longer serves my highest good? Sit in silence. Let the answers rise from the quiet spaces within. Do not force them. Simply notice what comes. You may be surprised at how clearly your soul already knows what is being released. Speak to yourself with gentleness in this process. Instead of saying, "I am losing everything," practice saying, "Everything unnecessary is being cleared for my expansion." This shift in language is a sacred reframe. It retrains the subconscious to see endings not as death, but as divine reordering. Here is an affirmation for you. I do not resist what is leaving. I bless the reorganization of my life. I trust the divine law at work within me. Say it until it becomes the rhythm of your inner dialogue. Say it until your body relaxes and your heart loosens its grip. Say it until you feel the holy timing that governs all change. When you look at your life through this lens, destruction no longer appears as chaos. It appears as choreography. Every collapse is a movement in the divine dance. Every ending is the silent gate of destiny opening. Every loss is a new alignment being written. Can you feel it? The shift from fear to trust, from clinging to surrender. This is the invitation of the law, to release resistance and allow divine reorganization to carry you where your own control never could. So remember, the soil of your life may be breaking, the ground may feel unstable, but it is only being turned so new life can grow. The clock of heaven has struck. It is the hour of transformation. What looks like destruction is the sound of your new beginning calling. You think it is over. You think you have failed. That inner voice whispers in the dark, you are finished. You are abandoned. There is no way back. And because the night feels endless, you believe the lie. Fear has a way of disguising itself as truth. Despair paints your vision with shadows so thick that you cannot see beyond them. And defeat convinces you that the story is already written in ashes. But I tell you now, that voice is not your soul. That voice is the echo of fear, and fear has no authority over your destiny. Every soul walks through a wilderness. Job, stripped of wealth, health, and companionship, sat in the ashes of his life. Yet in his despair, he declared, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. His story was not ruin but restoration. David wandered the wilderness, hunted and alone. Yet that wilderness became his training ground for kingship. Even in loss, even in the silence of unanswered prayers, there is preparation. A seed buried in the soil looks as if it has been discarded, hidden in darkness. It begins to split, to crack, to break apart. To the eye, it seems like death, but in truth, it is the secret beginning of life. Without the breaking, without the pressure of the soil, no root could ever reach downward. No root could ever reach downward. No shoot could ever rise toward the light. So it is with you. what feels like you're breaking is not the end. It is the beginning of something new. You are not abandoned. That is the illusion. You are not defeated. That is the shadow cast by fear. The divine has not left you. Even when every outward sign seems to scream otherwise, the truth is, the universe is still for you, still guiding you, still moving you forward. Your soul's compass never stops pointing toward destiny. Let us speak directly to the fear that binds you. Fear says, you will never recover. Answer it with, this collapse is the soil of my resurrection. Fear says, you are finished. Respond, I am being prepared for greater ground. Fear says, you are forgotten. Declare, I am never abandoned. What looks like loss is divine preparation. When despair whispers, it is hopeless. I want you to remember the sacred pattern. Every great life, every great story, carries a chapter of breaking, but no chapter is the whole book. Your wilderness is not your permanent address. It is only the passageway to your promised land. Psychologists tell us that the brain interprets endings as danger. To the mind, losing a job, a home, or a relationship feels like threat to survival. The nervous system tightens, anxiety rises, despair follows. Yet in the spiritual realm, endings are not danger, they are preparation. Your subconscious may scream in fear, but your spirit knows the truth. You are being moved into alignment. The challenge is this: which voice will you believe? The voice of fear or the voice of faith? One drags you into despair, the other lifts you into anticipation. One chains you to the ashes, the other teaches you to see the ashes as the soil of new creation. Here is a practice for this moment. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. Imagine yourself as a seed buried in the dark. Feel the soil press against you. Feel the tightness, the weight, the hiddenness. Then imagine a crack forming, not as destruction, but as opening. From that crack, a root reaches downward, steady and strong. A shoot rises upward, seeking the light. You are that seed. The breaking is not the end. The breaking is the breakthrough. Say this affirmation aloud. I am never abandoned. What looks like loss is divine preparation. Repeat it until your heart begins to loosen its grip on despair. Let each word reprogram the echo of fear inside you. When you feel abandoned, remember Job. When you feel hunted, remember David. When you feel buried, remember the seed. Their stories are mirrors of your own. If they rose, so will you. The illusion of defeat is strong, but it is only an illusion. The truth is rising even now, like dawn breaking across the horizon. You are being shifted from despair into anticipation, from darkness into the edge of light. The universe has already scheduled your restoration. The divine clock is still striking in perfect rhythm, so let your heart release the grip of fear. Let your spirit breathe again. What feels like the end is not the end. It is only the silent prelude to your hidden breakthrough. Destruction does not end your story. It begins the sacred turning of the page, and the path from ruins to resurrection is not random. It follows a divine sequence, a hidden pattern of breakthrough written into the very fabric of your soul. This path unfolds in 3 steps: recognition, realignment, and rebirth. Each step is not merely an idea, but a spiritual law in action. When you honor these steps, you rise not because you force life to obey you, but because you allow divine alignment to carry you where resistance once held you down. The first step is recognition. Here, you awaken to the truth that what fell apart was not punishment but divine reorganization. You begin to see through the illusion of tragedy into the quiet working of the law. Recognition is when your soul whispers, "This too is sacred." It is the moment when the storm reveals itself not as an enemy but as a gardener clearing the field. Imagine the phoenix, its wings scorched, its body consumed in fire. To the untrained eye, it looks like the end, but to those who understand, it is the sacred necessity of renewal. In the flames, the old form dissolves. Recognition is daring to declare, "I am not perishing, I am being prepared." Florence Scovel Shinn often reminded us that nothing is ever lost. What departs makes way for something higher, something more, attuned to the divine blueprint of your destiny. Recognition allows you to stop fighting shadows, and instead, see the light breaking through the cracks of what once imprisoned you. The second step is realignment. Once you see destruction as divine reorganization, you are called to shift your posture. No longer clinging to the ruins, no longer worshiping the memory of what collapsed. You ask a holy question: What wants to be built through me now? This question is not casual, it is commanding. It moves the subconscious out of mourning and into momentum. It places you in harmony with the law of substitution, releasing the lesser so the greater may come forth. Realignment is when your soul's compass heavily brushes, pointing not backward to what has ended, but forward to what is rising. Picture yourself standing among the broken stones of a temple that once defined you. At first, all you see is debris, but then, as you lift your gaze, a shaft of light pours through the gaps, illuminating the shape of something new. That light is divine intention, showing you what is to be constructed on stronger foundations. In realignment, your words become tools of creation. Instead of declaring defeat, you speak possibility. Instead of rehearsing despair, you affirm destiny. Every thought, every phrase, every silent prayer turns the soil of your subconscious into fertile ground. The third step is rebirth. This is where your voice becomes the architect of your new reality. For it is not enough to recognize or even to realign, you must speak the decree of your resurrection. Words are not decoration, words are law. The tongue sets the course, and when spoken in alignment with divine truth, words rebuild worlds. Rebirth is rising through declaration. I cooperate with divine timing. I am aligned with my comeback story. My seeming defeat is my certain victory. These are not mere affirmations, they are divine verdicts. Sentences of power that command life to reorganize itself around your higher good. Feel the energy as you say them, not from the mind alone but from the core of your being. Speak them until your cells vibrate with their truth. Speak them until the ashes beneath your feet feel less like loss and more like the holy ground of new creation. Visualization becomes your ally here. Close your eyes and see yourself standing amid the ruins of what once was. The air is still heavy with the memory of fire, yet as you stand, light begins to stream through the cracks, not gentle, but radiant golden beams that transform the rubble into luminous soil. Watch as out of that soil, new structures rise, not imposed by your will but drawn forth by divine order. See yourself not broken, but reborn, not defeated, but enthroned in a higher chapter. This is the law of resurrection. Not reserved for the saints of history, but active in you here and now. The phoenix is your reflection, the temple is your story. The ruins are not evidence of abandonment, but of preparation for a greater indwelling of divine purpose. Recognition, realignment, rebirth. These are not theories, they are universal laws of comeback. To resist them is to prolong despair. To align with them is to accelerate destiny. You may feel the tremors of uncertainty even now, but hear this clearly. The same hand that allowed the crumbling is the hand that writes your restoration. Divine timing is never late, divine order never fails, and every collapse conceals a crown. So declare it, I am the phoenix, I rise through divine alignment. Declare it, the ruins are my altar, from them I rise into my true inheritance. Declare it, this is not the end of me, this is the unveiling of who I was always meant to be. When you embrace this path, fear loses its grip, doubt loses its voice, the illusion of defeat dissolves, and the certainty of victory stands tall within you. Recognition awakens your sight, realignment restores your posture, rebirth releases your power, and in this trinity of transformation, you become unstoppable not by human strength, but by divine law. This is not theory, this is law. There comes a moment when recognition and realignment must turn into action. A moment where you no longer wait for destiny to surprise you, but you step into your authority and command it forward. This is where the true tools of power are revealed, the instruments that transform ashes into crowns, defeat into triumph, and silence into song. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that words are not casual, they are creative decrees. When spoken in times of apparent destruction, their force multiplies. Why? Because the subconscious is most impressionable in the valley, not on the mountaintop. When life appears stripped bare, every syllable you speak becomes a seed sown directly into the soil of rebirth. In destruction, the tongue becomes the divine chisel, carving victory out of the stone of despair. This is why you must guard your mouth in seasons of loss. Every word either chains you to the ruins or builds your ladder out of them. So I ask you now, what words will you choose? Will you echo fear, or will you command resurrection? For the next 7 days, I challenge you to take authority with your speech. Each morning before the world interrupts you, declare aloud. They will send new instructions into the divine orchestra of your life, and as you declare, you will notice something shift. The atmosphere inside you will change first. Then the atmosphere around you will follow. Repeated declarations carve new grooves into the brain, rewiring it to expect breakthrough instead of disaster, expansion instead of collapse. This is not wishful thinking, it is spiritual law meeting psychological truth. But affirmations alone are not enough. You must also see it. Visualization is the companion of declaration. Close your eyes and imagine yourself holding the broken pieces of your life in your hands. Fragments of relationships, finances, dreams, opportunities. Feel their weight. Then, in your mind, lift them upward and place them in the hands of divine intelligence. Watch as the light of heaven flows over them, transforming jagged shards into streams of pure gold. See the gold flowing back to you, shaping a path brighter than anything you once clung to. This vision imprints victory into your inner world, so that the outer world has no choice but to mirror it. Take this further with the pen. Journaling is not simply writing, it is dialogue with destiny. Ask yourself with honesty, what qualities is my wilderness preparing in me? Is it patience, faith, courage, discernment? The wilderness is never empty. It forges something eternal. When you identify it, you shift from victim to student, from abandoned to anointed. Do not underestimate this process. Words, visions, and written reflections create alignment between the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the divine mind. When the three agree, mountains move. So let us seal this teaching with a sacred declaration. Place your hand upon your heart and say, every word I speak now plants the seeds of my comeback. My tongue is my compass, my vision is my map, my faith is my anchor. I will not bow to ruins, I will command my resurrection. Feel the weight of those words. They are not mere encouragement, they are law. And as you walk forward, carry this knowing your comeback is not only certain, it has already begun. There is a moment in every divine journey when the old self can no longer survive. The victim dissolves, the survivor steps forward, and then, in the silence, after destruction, the true victor rises. Understand this clearly, your comeback is not merely about regaining what was lost. A true comeback is not measured in restored possessions, positions, or appearances. It is measured in consciousness. It is the shift from the self who feared collapse to the self who now knows collapse was never defeat, but preparation. You are not who you were before the breaking. You have been reforged in the fire. Think of Joseph, sold into slavery, betrayed by blood, forgotten in prison. Yet, when his moment came, he did not simply return to his family as the boy who once dreamed. He rose as ruler in Egypt, steward of a nation's abundance. His suffering shaped his crown. Think of Moses, driven into exile, stripped of power, wandering in wilderness. Yet from exile he returned not as a fugitive, but as deliverer, leading a people through the sea and into promise. His years in obscurity were the training ground of divine leadership. Think of Paul, once the persecutor, broken by blindness on the Damascus road, yet through that breaking, he became the voice that carried light across empires. His destruction was the doorway to his transformation. The pattern is eternal. You are walking it now. You see, a diamond does not gleam until it has endured both pressure and fire. The stone in its raw form appears ordinary, almost hidden, but under crushing weight, under burning flame, its hidden brilliance is revealed. You are that diamond. Your trials have not destroyed you. They have uncovered the brilliance no one could see until the pressure came. So let this truth anchor in you. You are no longer the victim. You are not even simply a survivor. You are the victor. Say it now and claim it. I am the victor, never the victim. Speak it with power. Speak it until it echoes in the chambers of your soul. And now I invite you into reflection. Ask yourself with courage, how is my soul stronger now than before my destruction? Perhaps you have discovered patience you never knew. Perhaps faith that cannot be shaken. Perhaps courage that roars louder than fear. These are treasures no collapse can steal. They are the gold mined only in valleys, the oil pressed only in crushing. This is the silent gate of destiny, the moment when your soul's compass points forward with unshakable clarity. You no longer ask, why did this happen to me? You declare, this happened for me, to reveal who I truly am. And as you step into this awareness, the energy around you shifts. The divine orchestra begins to play the notes of victory. Doors that once closed will now open with ease. Path that once confused you will now glow with direction. For you no longer carry the vibration of defeat. You carry the resonance of triumph. The transformation is complete. You have crossed the threshold from victim to victor, and this victory is not fragile, it is eternal. Prepare your heart now, for soon we will seal this journey with a sacred declaration. A declaration that will not only affirm your victory, but will anchor it into the very fabric of your destiny. Beloved soul, let this truth echo in the deepest chambers of your being. Destruction was never sent to end you, it was sent to awaken you, to call you into a destiny that could not be born until the old was cleared away. Every collapse has been a divine reorganization, every loss has been a hidden preparation, and every tear has been watering the soil of your breakthrough. This is not the end, this is your rising, this is your sacred comeback. Close your eyes for a moment and breathe. Imagine the divine orchestra tuning within your spirit, the strings of faith, the drums of courage, the soft whisper of release. Everything within you is aligning to a new song, a song of victory that was written for you before the foundations of time. Now, speak with me, not as a wish, but as a decree, not as hope, but as law. Divine intelligence works perfectly through me now. Every seeming loss is my certain gain. My breakthrough is here, and I rise in victory. Let these words not be empty sounds, but sacred contracts. Every syllable plants a seed in the soil of your subconscious, and what you plant in faith, you will harvest in glory. You are no longer defined by what was destroyed, you are defined by what is being built within you. The silent gate of destiny has opened, and you have stepped through. Say it once more with authority. I rise in victory, my soul is unshaken, my path is made perfect. And now I leave you with this charge. If this message has stirred your spirit, if it has reminded you of who you truly are, then join me daily in this journey. Subscribe to this channel for daily words that awaken your inner temple, and declare it publicly, boldly, in the comments. My breakthrough brings my comeback. For your declaration is not only your own, it becomes a light for others still standing in the rubble. It becomes proof that the law works, that spirit is faithful, that no destruction has the final word. Your comeback is not far away. Your comeback is not on the horizon. Your comeback has already begun. Walk in it, speak it, live it, and know with certainty the victory is yours.